LeBron James is simply the greatest 15, 16-year-old kid I've ever seen in my life. At this point in his life, he is the most mature on the court and the most gifted on the court. He has a chance, when it's all over, to be one of the greatest players ever to play the game.
During the summer of 2001, Kobe Bryant was coming off of back-to-back championships and was invited to speak to the top high school basketball players in the country at the prestigious ABCD camp, a camp that he once attended. The room was filled with future NBA players like Sebastian Telfair, Carmelo Anthony, Joakim Noah, and at the time, the #1 ranked player in the country. He was revered for his size, strength, explosiveness, and playmaking ability as an abnormally big guard. Coming off of a junior season where he averaged 25 points and 10 rebounds, this kid was hyped up to be a future star, and making the NBA seemed like a guarantee. The crowd followed him wherever he went, and so did a camera crew that wanted to capture the inevitable rise of this surefire superstar. Sadly for the camera crew, they were following the wrong guy, because there was another kid at that camp who left players and scouts in awe at his poise and focus as a 16-year-old, that if he remained on the right path in the eyes of the founder of the camp, would become one of the greatest players to ever play the game. As crazy as a statement that was at the time, he would be right, because that kid was LeBron James. Before the GOAT debates, records, championships, hate, praise, and hype, there was this kid with the nappy afro. He was just LeBron. No buzz to his name just yet, but that would change very soon. Coming off of a picture-perfect freshman season in which he averaged 21 points and 6 rebounds a game, capping it off with a flawless 27-0 record and a state championship, the name LeBron James was starting to circulate. He earned an invitation to attend the famed ABCD camp sponsored by Adidas, who in the past showcased future greats like Kevin Garnett, Tracy McGrady, and Kobe Bryant, guys that made the leap from high school to the NBA, a risk that many players at the time were willing to make. As Kobe spoke to the group, the #1 player in the country, Lenny Cook, challenged him to a one-on-one in front of the entire camp, but Kobe laughed it off and told him that once he's in the NBA, he'll play him. Former high school standout Matt Babcock was also in that room, and he recalls a fascinating story. After Kobe's talk, the players made their way to a different room to take prep for their ACT and SAT classes. Sitting directly beside him in the classroom was a younger player who he didn't know, and like many, he wasn't interested in the class. He was picking out his braids and leaving his hair in an afro and decided to take a nap during the class. The teacher wasn't pleased and repeatedly told him that what they're learning is important and that his future depends on it. The kid eventually sat up and said, "I'm going pro," and laid back down. Matt found out later that that kid was LeBron James, who reintroduced himself on the court when he tried to take a charge on LeBron, which ended with a tomahawk dunk right on his head. Even at just 16 years old, LeBron had this poise and unrelenting confidence that his future was already planned out for him, that he was going to play his way and make the jump to the NBA. And as the #1 player in the country, Lenny Cook shared some of that same confidence. Maybe a little too much. Lenny had his entourage around him at all times, a group of yes men if you will, a constant reminder that he was going to be great no matter what decisions he made. His confidence bordered on cockiness, and he was bound to be humbled. But first he'd have to go through a future NBA superstar in Carmelo Anthony. Lenny dominated Carmelo with an array of silky smooth jump shots and an off the backboard lob to seal the game. After the game, he's heard talking about Melo with one of the campers.
Carmelo Anthony?
He alright,
Huh?
He alright.
He nice, right?
He good.
He nice.
He good.
He nice,
He
right?
good.
And in an interview, he states that it was easy to affect Melo's game because he has more experience than him.
That's how I knew I had more experience on him. I can get into his game because people used to do that to me. So that's how I got the better game of him.
That's how Lenny carried himself. He looked down on many of his peers. He seemed to have the thought of, I'm the best player here and there's nobody on my level. It was his mindset. There's a documentary about Lenny Cook, in which it showcases his days as the #1 ranked player in the country, but it only highlighted his lack of work ethic. He refused to wake up early to go to practice, and he'd try to leave once he got there. Lenny got to where he was off of pure talent, and other players were starting to catch up. Nevertheless, the win over Melo set up a finals matchup between the top player in the country and the guy with the nappy afro, another name to knock off of Lenny's hit list.
Another one off the hit list. You get nappy afro. You get nappy afro tonight, right? Who's that? LeBron.
The gym was packed to witness this matchup, and the promise LeBron showed was about to be put to the test against a future superstar in front of a crowd of scouts and executives from the college and NBA level. This was the moment to put his name on the map. But instead, Lenny came out firing. He throws down a reverse dunk on the fast break, following it up with a sweeping hook over LeBron, and another dunk, proving that he's worthy of being ranked as the #1 player. He gets LeBron on an island and flashes his tight handle with an array of crossovers, finishing with a sweet jumper. The crowd goes crazy. Lenny is yelling and clapping, inviting LeBron to a duel. But this is still LeBron James. He tries to ISO Bron again, but gets swatted this time. LeBron drives in on the closeout and throws down a huge tomahawk slam. Now Lenny's on him. He drives left and throws up a wild floater. LeBron is dominating. He's outscoring the top player in the country 21 points to 9. But he isn't winning. Lenny's team is up 83 to 82 with 6.2 seconds left, and LeBron's team has the ball. Lenny puts the pressure on him as he's dribbling up court, forcing LeBron into a difficult running three-pointer. There's no way. A drifting three-pointer over the #1 player in the country to win the tournament and walk away as the camp's MVP. A storybook ending. This moment seemingly catapulted LeBron into stardom. Days after the game, Lenny Cook dropped to #3 in the rankings, now trailing #2 Carmelo Anthony and the now #1 player in the country in LeBron. In the following months, the world came to know him as the chosen one. The spotlight that was once on Lenny Cook shot the other way onto LeBron, who amplified it by living up to the promise and hype that he showed at such a young age. That poise and focus that he displayed at that camp in 2001 was exactly what he was made of. He knew the moment would come, and when it did, he didn't miss a beat. Lenny Cook, however, never earned his shot at playing Kobe one-on-one. Lenny would go undrafted and bounce around numerous leagues before tearing his left Achilles in 2004 and his other Achilles in 2006, ending his basketball career. The 2001 ABCD camp was a pivotal few days for LeBron's career. He entered as a relatively unknown hooper with an uncanny drive and focus, eager to prove that he was the best. He embarrassed the best player in the country in front of NBA scouts and executives who were left speechless at the potential he showed. Not only did LeBron leave the camp as the #1 player in the country, but he left with a new name.
You gotta put your mind to it if you're gonna really want to play this game, and you gotta work every day as hard as you can.